Talk to you about seizures and epilepsy first aid. Knowing these things can help save a life. Whether it be a child or another adult, you need to remember to stay calm. Imagine with me, if you will, that you're sitting in the computer room with 21 children. All of a sudden, Susie falls out of her chair. She's red and she's twitching. You go over and first think she's joking around. Then you see this is no joke. What are you going to do? Seizures are brief temporary changes in the electrical system of the brain. Malfunction means that there's more than the normal amount of electrical activity moving between brain cells. The sudden overload may stay in one section of the brain, or it may move and overload the entire brain. There are many causes and clinical presentations of a seizure. We have the first one, generalized tonic-clonic, which are formerly known as grand mal seizures, which everyone thinks of when they hear the word epilepsy. When someone has a grand mal seizure, the person convulses and typically loses consciousness between 2 to 5 minutes. Then you have petite mal seizures, which are now known as absent seizures, which come in the form of a blank stare, only lasting a few seconds. Partial seizures are involuntary movements of the arm or leg, usually distorted sensations, automatic movements, and blurred or completely absent stares. Epilepsy is typically diagnosed after 2 to 3 unexplained seizures and affects 3% of the population. Most of the population is able to be treated with medication in an outpatient setting. The medication suppresses the discharge of electrical activity from certain neuron groups in the brain. Some medications will also prevent and limit the amount of discharge that goes to other areas of the brain. Most serious types of epilepsy has to be treated in a hospital setting with either a resection or a lobotomy. And it's done to prevent more seizures or further brain damage. Let's go back to our scenario. So you're in the computer room. Susie's now on the floor, red and twitching. The children are now asking you, is Susie okay? What's going on? They start to cry. Your heart's racing. What are you going to do? You're in an extremely emotional and heartbreaking situation. You must remain calm. The first thing you're going to do is reassure those nearby that everything's going to be all right. And then you need to remove everything from the area that's hard or sharp that can hurt this person. Then you need to ease the person to the floor if they're not already there. Typically, if they have a very mild seizure, they're already going to be on the floor. And you're going to cushion their head with something soft, whether it be a sweatshirt, a jacket, a pillow, and you turn them to their side so that their airway stays clear. One of the most important things is to time the seizure so that you're able to convey that information to the school nurse. Remove their glasses and loosen anything tight like a tie or any tight jewelry on their neck. Stay with the person until they regain consciousness and the seizure ends naturally. Do not hold them down and do not ever stick anything in their mouth. You need to reassure the person as they regain consciousness, as they'll probably be upset. And as we use in the scenario, you're going to call the school nurse because we're in the school up, so she's able to alert the principal, call 911 if necessary, and alert the parents. She may also have some of the paperwork that I put on the table to mark down what you saw in the seizure and how long it lasted. And it's recommended that after the very first seizure, you call 911, because once someone has epilepsy, though it is nerve-wracking, it's not really a medical emergency. Alright, the story we just played out is a variation of my story. My story began October 23rd, 2004. I was at my aunt's house with my sister, who was 9 at the time. I was in the computer chair. All of a sudden, the chair spun around, and down I fell. I was red and twitching. My sister ran into the room to get my aunt. I said to my aunt, Melissa's on the floor. Something's wrong. My aunt said, "Kid, you're joking. Stop." She ran out there, saw that I was twitching and red. She said to my sister, "Call 911." And she ran over to the door and called my cousin, who lived downstairs. It was an EMT. he came up and said, she's having a seizure. Once the EMTs arrived, though I don't remember much, I started to regain consciousness as the rest of the family began coming in the house. And I couldn't really see, but I could hear, and they told me, you had a seizure. And I was somehow able to give them my father's work phone number, so he was able to get to my mother to tell her what was going on. As I regained more consciousness, we were getting into the ambulance, and I'm told I asked the lady, did the Red Sox win the game yet? They won the World Series. And then I remember my aunt being in the front seat as we were going to the hospital, and she said, your aunt and your cousin are in the car next to us. They'll be there when we get there. And Mom and Dad are on their way from Lowell. So we get to Mass General as I'm strapped to a backboard and have a neck brace on, thinking I'm about to die. Everything checked out to be okay. They said, you know, it's probably just a fluke. You'll be okay, but we'll set you up with a neurologist. And then once that all checked out, my family was able to come in. We kind of knew the way at the desk, so everyone came in the room. It was like 52 pickup. If my sister and my cousin weren't there, I don't know where I'd be today. My family truly saved my life that day. And I urge you to talk to your family about what we talked about today. And if you want more information, you can visit the websites. Thank you. Anyone have any questions? Anybody? Yes.
You said that they saved your life that day, but you said it wasn't necessarily a medical emergency.
Well, the first one is. The first one, because you want to be checked out for further medical emergencies, like any injuries or any other health conditions that are masked by the seizure.
Thank you.
I wish Jen when she wants to ask the question about the medication.